Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's February 7th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery with the Doppler radars overlaid. You can see the state of California is right here. You can see we've got some moderate and heavy rainfall already swooping across the Bay Area here, and it was across Northern California this morning. Continues its trek down to the south and east, and it's going to be getting towards Southern California here as we go through the day today. And the good news about this frontal system, it is progressive here, even though it is bringing some heavy rain. It's not expected to hang out for long. However, we are pretty saturated here and dramatically so across some portions of Southern California, so it could exacerbate some flooding concerns. We'll take a look at these details. We'll take a look at the extended forecast. You're starting to probably hear a little bit of chatter about that in my videos and in some of the social media sites out there as well. Taking a look at the short term, here's the high resolution rapid refresh, and you can see the snow is going to be piling up across the Sierra Nevada today. We'll look at some of those snow levels here as we go through the video, all the way down through Southern California. Relatively low snow levels with this storm system, cooler low out of the northwest. And then we're going to be kicking this system through here as we go through finally Friday morning. Then we're going to get a bit of a break. But if we look at the composite reflectivity, let's take a look at where we are right about now, about 18Z, about 10 a.m. is when I'm doing this video here. And you can see that heavy rain kind of picked up pretty well here in the high resolution model. And you can see this moving down by the time we get towards, what is this, about 5 p.m. for Santa Barbara. And you can see it moving towards Oxnard, eventually Los Angeles. As we go through the evening hours, about 8 p.m. here. And you can see the showery nature behind this as well. And again, some areas might be teetering right on the borderline of getting some landslide activity with all that rainfall. It doesn't have to happen when the heavy rain is falling, initially at least, and then you can bring other bouts of heavy rain and you can really trigger some additional landslides. It doesn't have to be too much. That's why there's still a marginal risk for some excessive rainfall across Southern California up towards the Central Coast area. We'll look at that map in a moment. And this is looking at snow levels. You can see Donner Summit, for the most part, is going to be below the snow level here. A chillier system as this comes through for sure. Echo Pass as well. And if we look at the Sacramento National Weather Service, you can see the 6 to 12 inches above 4,500. Look at the snow levels all the way down to 3,000 feet and probably dropping lower as we go on into Thursday. And you can see this winter weather advisory goes through about 10 p.m. tomorrow, February 8th. Chain controls possible. Heads up. Travel delays. Difficult travel at times. And this is the expected rainfall. Again, a pretty progressive front. You can see it is bringing some decent amounts. Big Sur might even get up towards an inch here. And this will eventually be trekking down towards Southern California as well. The good news is this is getting out of here pretty quick. A progressive frontal system. There's no threat of this hanging up like the atmospheric river did across Southern California. Here's a winter storm warning for some of the southern Sierra Nevada. Check it out, 4 to 12 inches. And we'll look at some of these snow levels here in a moment. But this goes all the way on in through, when is this? I believe this goes through 10 a.m. Thursday morning here. And if we look at this, so we've got some lower snow levels showing up. Look, Keene, 2 to 4 inches. That's only at 2,600 feet. Look at Tehachapi, 2 to 4 inches near 4,000 feet there. So again, through Thursday morning here, we've got some winter storm warnings and some winter weather advisories, even for Southern California. And check it out, Grapevine. They even put that 1 inch there. Grapevine's only at 1,600 feet there. And the snow level's kind of hanging out around 3,000 feet, or like Tejon Pass there, traced to 1 inch. So not too much expected down here as we go through Thursday morning, but some of the higher terrain are going to be getting some decent amounts. And I'll show you those maps in a moment. This is winter weather advisory. And again, 2 to 6 inches in the Sierra Nevada until 10 a.m. Thursday morning. You can see it in Huntington Lake right there, and there's Mono Lake to the top right of this little map here from the Hanford National Weather Service. Now, looking at Southern California, you can see additional snow, and they have the snow levels here, and you can see the expected amounts above 4,000 feet, 1 to 3. But look at that, 7,000 feet plus 10 to 20 inches here, and the snow levels dropping as we go through Thursday, possibly as low as 3,000, maybe even lower. As you saw, the Grapevine was talking about maybe even a little bit of snow getting down to some of the lower elevations there. Now, here we go. Snowfall through Thursday morning. A little bit further south, you can see this includes Big Bear Lake. Look at that. Foot and a half there as we go through Thursday morning. Not bad. And you can see snow levels generally around 5,000 feet as you go a little bit further south. That's probably the lowest they're going to get. Mount Laguna out there, 1 foot to 1.5 feet as well. And this is the rain timing and intensity. So again, as we go through the day today, mainly an evening show here across Los Angeles. Could be some heavy rain at times, but it will be moving through. This is not going to be hanging out for that long. However, like I mentioned, things are very saturated out there. And, some places could be teetering on the brink of some landslide, mud flows, and debris flows. This is looking at the rainfall through Thursday morning. You can see San Diego down here, higher amounts across the higher terrain, as you see here, and lesser amounts in the coastal areas, but still not a bad little dousing here, up towards an inch for maybe Oceanside, San Diego, up over a half an inch as well. And this is a winter weather advisory here, and you can see Reno is out here, and this could bring some difficult travel conditions. Snow expected down to the valley floors, and this goes all the way on in through 9 a.m. Thursday, so heads up across portions of Nevada as well. Includes Tonopah and Goldfield out there. If you've ever been to Goldfield, nice little ghost town out there. Highly recommend it if you want to visit there when you're driving through. Taking a look here at the winter storm warnings here. This is for some of southern Nevada and some of the Mojave County, Lincoln County, Spring Mountain Sheep Range, generally above 5,000 feet, but some pretty impressive snowfall there, 5 to 15 inches here, generally more than 5 inches above 5,000 feet. This goes all the way in through Thursday evening. Now, the winter storm warning for some portions of northern Arizona as well. Big snowfall amounts generally above 6,000 feet. You can see Flagstaff, though, checking in 6 to 8 inches. So heads up, this is going to go all the way through Thursday. Now, let's look at the North American model. This is as we're scrolling through the day today. So this is right as I'm speaking now. You can see it's starting to snow there, especially across the Sierra Nevadas here in Northern California. And we scroll through this afternoon, and you can see the snow starting to pile up across the higher terrain of Southern California as well. So it's going to be quite difficult travel as we go through the day today and on in through tomorrow. It's the snow levels are going to be a bit lower here. It'll be difficult going back and forth across the passes, so you might want to wait until tomorrow afternoon for most cases, and if you can put it off until Friday. There is another little weak system kind of swinging down here. I'll show you that in some of the models, but it's going to be pretty moisture starved. Now, looking at the European, this is hot off the presses. In fact, let me update that because this is running as we speak. If I put this into motion, you'll see that frontal system making its journey southward. And again, some impressive snowfall amounts, especially across the higher terrain for the Sierra Nevada cold system. Moves down across the area. That's why we got winter storm warnings and advisories all over the place, and the big snowfall amounts across them in northern Arizona. So this kicks through as we go through Friday morning. Finally, the shower activity ending across Southern California, but then we've got another weak system. And so it looks like Friday evening, a little bit of snow showing up across Nevada and maybe bumping up against the Sierras, but not looking at huge amounts. Bigger amounts, however, with that wave as it moves across northern Arizona. And then we get a break. But we'll look at the extended forecast, so stick with me here as we go towards the end of the run. This is where the excessive rainfall outlooks. As you can see, Salinas all the way down through Los Angeles and down towards San Diego. And this, again, is mainly because things are so saturated here across much of California right now. And, it might be right on that edge here of unleashing some more debris flows or some landslide activity. This is day one thunderstorm outlook all the way from the Bay Area down through Southern California. It includes Arizona and portions of Nevada. And this is for day two as it pushes off to the east. But this is the breakup coming here for the next 6 to 10 days. This goes through February 16th. And again, much of the West Coast is going to get a break here. So you got to take advantage of that. Do your cleanup while you can, because we may be returning to some stormy conditions as we start to head towards later portions of February. And we'll look at some of the models on that here in a moment. But you can see they're still got that moderate risk, mainly south of the Bay Area. But this is just an experimental product. We'll take a look at the models now. We've got the European. I've got yesterday afternoons here on the left versus itself yesterday mornings. So I want to show you. This is at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. Gives you a good idea of general ridge and trough position and kind of give you an outline of where the jet stream is setting up. So you can see the system moving through, and then that weak wave moves through Friday night and finally kicks out. We get our ridge to build for a little bit here as we go through the mid portion of February, but then you can kind of see the jet extensions start to get going across Pacific Ocean. And really all the models are showing this: the Canadian, the GFS, the European, strong jet stream just north of Hawaii, El Nino classic signature here. So potential return of some stormy weather as we go in through, maybe February 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. And this could vary back and forth several days. We're not going to get caught up in details just yet, just kind of showing you there is a strong signal here for the storm track to get pointed back at the west coast of North America at some point. This is the GFS. So I did kind of the same thing here, but the GFS hot off the presses, the 12Z run is out. It's on the left. This is yesterday afternoons on the right. So let's put this into motion. Pretty good agreement as always in the short term with the system kicking through. The weak wave moves down Friday night into Saturday morning. Then we get our ridge here and we get our break as we go through the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, and then we start to bring the jet extension back across the Pacific Ocean. And as you can see, the models are just not budging. They are very bullish on this jet extension coming across the Pacific Ocean and pointing somewhere at the west coast of North America. And I don't want to promise storms for California just yet. We're not at that point yet. We're not going to start getting into the details too much of where these storms are going to line up, because you're still looking, 8, 9, 10 days out right now, and you don't want to get caught up in those details too much. But since we're here, let's look at the Canadian model as well. This is the European run. There go our systems, trough hanging out, moving through ridge builds. We get a bit of a break here as we go through the mid portion of February, and you can see pretty good agreement with what the European and the GFS are showing there, and getting that jet ripping right back towards Southern California here. But yeah, not getting caught up in details just yet. It's not that time. We're just looking at a good signal for the storm track to return at this point. And just a heads up, if you're going on about some of this here in Nevada here, it's going to be difficult travel up there anyway, but if you're out and about, there's still considerable avalanche danger, moderate for Mount Shasta, and you can kind of see where the red flashing is. That's actually avalanche warnings in effect for portions of Colorado. Still some high across Utah as well, and you can see Flagstaff even has some high out just outside of the city there up to the north. But yeah, interesting stuff. So we got this system to go through. Don't let your guard down just yet. This should be the last heavy batch of rainfall here across much of the state for the next several days. And then we will start to break down and watch day by day and try to gain some confidence in what is going to be occurring through the extended forecast, because you saw the model agreement in the return of that storm track and that El Nino signature with a powerful jet stream right back at the state of California. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. I may do a roundup video on this storm upcoming here. It'll probably come out in the next day or two. I'm going to go over some of the wind speeds across the state, some of the rainfall amounts, some of the impacts we saw, some of the snowfall amounts across the higher terrain, and just kind of break down the storm in general. I didn't want to do it in the video here because these videos can already be kind of long enough as it is. So I'll probably release that either tonight or tomorrow. Again, another storm roundup here for one of the greatest storms that I've ever seen as far as widespread impacts to impact the state of California. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.